There is nothing more unattractive to me than someone who is always polite, someone who's always proper, someone who perfectly walks the line that was painted on the road of life by society. I am repulsed by those people, at least romantically. Now, whenever I talk to them on a day-to-day basis, particularly whenever I'm driving Uber or Lyft, I quite like these people. They're very pleasant people, very easy conversations, very nice, and I'm left feeling better afterwards. But when it comes to being seduced, there's nothing there for me. Because what every great seducer has known and does know, and what every great seduction has, is this feeling of push and pull. This feeling of push you away and then pull you in closer. Get away from me and then come here. That's what every great seduction has. Because without it, you become comfortable. Without it, things become stale. They become boring. They become banal. Right? A great seduction, one that truly puts you in a place where you're no longer in the human realm. Though you are very much in this body. You're not dreaming, but you're not in the human realm anymore. The dream and the real world are blending together. The lines are blurring. Every great seduction that puts you in that place is a seduction that has this back and forth. And it's not a gentle one, at least not all the time. Sometimes it can be a gentle back and forth. Sometimes it can be a and then a It can be fairly regular, fairly calm. Whenever I look at Lake Michigan in the morning, I see sometimes the waves are calm. Sometimes they come in and they go out. They come in and then they go out. It's very smooth, very regular. But many other times, the waves are violent. They crash against the shore. And you can see all the way out, deep into Lake Michigan, that there is violence out in the middle of the lake. It's amazing to watch. It still doesn't feel real to me, since I've only been here for a couple weeks. But the way the waves of Lake Michigan move on a day-to-day basis, and even an hourly basis, perfectly encapsulates what a great seduction is. Another great example is Genghis Khan. He had this idea as a conqueror that you must go slow, slow, and then quick, quick. You would make a slow action, and then you'd make another slow action, and then you'd go quick, and then quick. You'd lull the enemy into a state of complacency. A false sense of security would be instilled within them because you were going slowly. You were taking your time. You weren't in a rush. You weren't making any moves that were super aggressive or putting them on the defensive or forcing an action out of them. No, you were just edging along. You were just navigating the border. Nothing crazy. And then all of a sudden, bang, bang. They had to react. And since they were lulled into this state of security, this false sense of security, all of a sudden, pandemonium. All of a sudden, they didn't know what to do. All of a sudden, their grand strategy that they concocted back at the palace, back in the king's household, all of a sudden, that got thrown out the window because whenever you get punched in the face, it's very difficult to fall back on your plan. No, you fall back on instinct, and that instinct is trained through brutal training under fire, training under adverse circumstances. That's what Genghis Khan knew. Every great seducer does the same thing. They go slow and they go slow. They're polite and they're kind and they're charming and they're thoughtful. And then all of a sudden, quick, quick, they say something aggressive. They criticize you. They make you angry. They make you jealous. They make you paranoid. And then they go in for the kill, quote unquote. They make the bold move, the kiss, the caress, the action that moves things to the bedroom, or perhaps if you're in the bedroom, gets things really flying, really allows the sparks to go off, like so often happens over Lake Michigan every single night of the week. Are they gunshots? Are they sparks? Are they fireworks? Who knows? But they're always going off around me, so it keeps me on edge. But in any case, every great seduction is like this, and in my life, I have only found this to be more and more true as I get older. Whenever I was a teenager, I thought that I wanted a smooth relationship, a calm relationship, a relationship where it was very predictable, where I knew how the person was going to act all of the time, where I felt like I was in a perfect state of bliss because every day was the same, because breakfast would be cooked perfectly, because she would always be nice to me. She would always boost up my ego. You're the best, honey. You're the best, Nate. You're so beautiful. You're so handsome. You're so strong. You're so wise. Saying those things, giving me perfect love, and I would give it back in return. That's what I thought I wanted. I thought I wanted her to be perfectly nice and kind and polite and gentle and caring, and for me, in turn, to do the same. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that this does not get me going at all. This does not put me in a state of love whatsoever, at least not romantically. Yes, I can love somebody who does that for me non-sexually, of course. I love those people all the time. I love those people very much. They're very helpful. They're great people to have in your life. But romantically, there's something about this push and this pull, this hot and this cold, that just gets me going, and truthfully gets every single person going. People don't want to admit this, but they don't want stability when it comes to love. They don't want stability when it comes to their romantic relationships. They don't like it. They don't want it. And I know this to be true, not just because of my own experience, but because of all of the experiences I have witnessed, that I have lived vicariously through as an Uber and Lyft driver. I've taken over 16,000 rides, both in Pittsburgh and now in Chicago. And I can tell you, after listening to the conversations of people in the back seat and even in the front seat, people who have caressed me in the car, who have made advances towards me in the car, people I've flirted with in the car, people who have flirted with me in the car, people who have gone way too far for my comfortability, at least as quick as they went, people who have been on the phone talking about this person or that person. I can tell you that people want the turbulence. They want a bumpy flight, at least sometimes. They want a flight that is going to be a little bit bumpy and then, oh, thank God the plane's not going to crash. Oh, we're going to be fine. We're going to land smooth. Oh, my, what is going on? That's what people want. People want a flight that they have a reasonable probability of expecting to land, right? They want to get on a plane where they have, say, 75% chance of landing, maybe 80% chance of landing. The probability is in their favor, but there's a good 20-25% chance that this thing crashes and it burns. And when it burns spectacularly. That's what people want, in my experience. I've witnessed it. They love the idea that perhaps the person they're seeing isn't so interested in them. They love the idea that perhaps the person they're seeing could go cheat on them, because that means they're valuable, because that means other people find them attractive. They love that. They love having to work for it. They love having to say, no, baby, please, don't do that. No, I'm the best for you. I'll do X, Y, Z. They love that. And they also love doing that to other people. They love proving to their partner that they can get other attention, that other people are looking at them, that if they slip up, their partner, that is, they may just leave. They may just find someone else. Everybody likes this because it stirs their blood. It gives them experience. And in today's world, a world that is becoming increasingly banal, a world that is becoming increasingly sterile, a world that is so lacking in vitality, people want it all the more. Right? This is the age of information, the age now of AI. Things are becoming so easy. They're becoming so automated. Right? When do you ever have real, genuine human connection? Not just a great conversation that leaves you completely uplifted, but a conversation that boils your blood, a conversation that makes you angry, a conversation that makes you want to punch the person. When do you have that? We don't see bar fights anymore. No. People just resort to guns. On East Carson Street, this would happen all the time back in Pittsburgh. People don't fight anymore. They just shoot each other. Why? Because they don't even have the nerve to have the real human experience of getting in a bar fight. That's even been stripped away from us. They just want to get it over with quick. Now, you can discuss the moral part of that, right? But I'm talking about the human experience part of that, which, to clarify, I don't think anybody should shoot anybody. I don't think that's a particularly heinous take. I'm sure somebody would disagree with me somewhere on Reddit or on Twitter or some random forum deep in the internet's archives. But I'm referring to the human experience aspect of this. the human experience aspect of disagreeing with someone, getting heated, throwing a punch, getting popped in the face, having your boys come back you up or having your girls come back you up, getting into a big bar fight, and then drinking afterwards, reveling over the experience, taking a shot, smoking a cigarette, going to bed, waking up hungover, and then having to work out, going for a long run. People don't do this anymore. People don't do this anymore. The world is so sterile. It's so regimented. People go to bed at the same time, and then they wake up at the same time, and then they go to work, and work is boring because they're just another number. They're just another time card to fill out. They're just another timesheet to account for, just another salary, just another hourly wage on the company's books. So they crunch their numbers, and then they help out a customer. They make a sale using the same script as always. They don't even say anything new, which would always baffle me whenever I sold tires. Why can't I say something creative? Why can't I say something a little bit crazy? Why can't I say something a little bit delusional in this? As long as it gets the sale, I think it's fine. But of course, companies don't like that because they want you to stay in the lines. Because if you don't stay in the lines, it's bad for business. Maybe someone will get offended. Maybe someone won't like what you said. Well, maybe somebody won't like your script. Ever thought of that? Oh, wait, no, the AI ran the numbers, and the AI knows best that everybody's going to like the script, or at least most people are going to like the script, more people than me. But here's the problem. It's not about numbers. It's not about analytics. It's not about data. People want human connection. People want to feel something, whether it's good or bad. This is true in seduction. This is true in every aspect of human life. They want to feel something. This is why that CEO cheated on his wife. He wanted to feel something. His life is too easy. He has everything handed on a plate, on a silver platter. His kids probably too, if he has kids. I don't know. But by and large, people like him want to feel something because life is too easy. They feel guilty. They look around at the world, and even though they may disdain the population, the peasants, the plebs, they may disdain them because they believe that they're completely unintelligent and there's nothing there of substance or value, that they have nothing to offer. Secretly inside, they also hate the fact that they're in this privileged position because they know they're not perfect, or at least they don't see themselves as perfect. They see themselves as heavily flawed. They have body issues. They have weight issues. They have image issues. They have self-confidence issues. They have issues with the past, unfinished business with parents and with old peers and teachers and colleagues, whatever it may be. They see themselves as missing something. And so they go out and they chase an experience. They chase something that's dangerous, that is probably going to blow up in their face, but so what? He was tired of being the CEO. He was tired of having this picture-perfect life where he just makes a bunch of money. He goes on his 5 vacations a year. He has drinks at the office. He has the great car, has the great house, has the boat perhaps, goes to the parties, goes to the dinners, goes to the ball games, takes his kids to the private school. He was tired of it. And so he went out and he chased an experience. It didn't matter what it was. He just wanted to feel something. This is what people want. This is what everybody wants. This is what I want. The difference between me, as Achilles said in Troy, is that I want what everybody else wants. I just want it more. I want the human experience more. I crave it more. I'm going to go get it. And that's what you could do too. You could go out and just get it. It doesn't matter if it falls in line with hustle and grind culture. It doesn't matter if it falls in line with a religion. It doesn't matter if it falls in line with a dogma or a creed. It doesn't matter. You want to feel something. And in my eyes, so long as you're not breaking any laws, and so long as you are not stepping on people's toes, willfully, consciously hurting other people, betraying other people, backstabbing other people, making their lives more difficult, as long as you're not consciously doing that, go have the experience. Do it amongst willing participants. And at a certain point, if that doesn't work, people are going to start doing it with unwilling participants, like Lord Byron did. He seduced people that had no business being seduced. Married women all over the place. Errol Flynn, same thing. Got charged with rape twice. Beat the cases. But still, the dude was relentless. He crossed some serious moral boundaries. But this is what happens whenever people are pent up. Or at least this is what I believe will happen so long as people are continuously pent up. So long as people are continuously starved of human connection. And right now, I believe in the year 2025, we are at this critical juncture. I believe it started in 2020. I believe it kind of started beforehand, but 2020 was the inflection point where we were entering this period of no return. where people were either going to numb themselves into the simulation or they were going to completely rebel and chase human experience, regardless if it was good or bad. They were going to chase it. And you're seeing this. You're seeing people online that are chasing this experience. Very rare individuals, very few, but they're chasing it and they're getting it because they want it more. There's a threshold that they have surpassed and they have crossed the line. They have crossed the Rubicon and they're going to get it. That's what I do. I am Julius Caesar. I have crossed the Rubicon. I am chasing the human experience. That's why I'm in Chicago. That's why I'm not in Pittsburgh anymore. If I wanted to live in the simulation, I would have stayed in Pittsburgh because life was really easy. I knew every single street. I was making good money. I had a perfectly disciplined life, a life away from chaos and craziness. But I left anyways because I wanted the experience. Because even there, I couldn't get enough of it. Here, I want more. That's why I'm here. So right now, you need to make a choice. You need to make a choice whether you are going to sink into the simulation or if you're going to chase real, raw, human connection that swings violently, sometimes gently, but mostly violently, from hot to cold, from, oh, I don't like that to, oh, yes, I love them more than anything else. You have to make a choice because if you don't make a choice now, the choice will be made for you. And guess what that choice is going to be? It's going to be simulation. Because by default, if you don't chase human experience, you will be starved and deprived of it forever. That is a guarantee. Because I've seen it in the eyes of thousands of folks. And I'm not kidding. I've taken over 16,000 rides as an Uber and Lyft driver in both Pittsburgh and Chicago. And that's not to mention all the other jobs I've worked, all the other places I've been, all the other establishments I've ran. I've seen it. And I've heard it in the voices of people I didn't even get to see because they were in my back seat. If you don't make the choice, life will make it for you. And when life makes the choice, it is a choice that you will not like. So, with that, I say, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Do you think I'm crazy? Perhaps I am. Because at the end of the day, what do I know? I'm just a man. I'm just a man wearing a chain and sitting in my closet, discussing things that perhaps nobody gives one F about. So that, I say God bless. I'll see you in the next one.